Okay, yesterday we already discussed the workbook until question 1 only. Until exercise 12.1, I mean, and 12 exercise 12.2. The exercise 12.3 we haven't discussed it yet. But before I continue, is there anyone who have any difficulties still regarding the exercise 12.1 until 12.2? Is there anyone having any difficulties? No? Okay, if you really have no difficulties, I will move to exercise 12.3. For exercise 12.3, you have to write all the numbers that is given in the root form into fractional indices. I think I always told you the power in here. The power, it will be the numerator, and then the number on the root, it will be the denominator. That's why it will be a to the power of 5 per 4. For the question B, we only have root. It is actually square root. The scientists already agree when it is a square root, they don't have to write the number 2 anymore. And then it doesn't mean when there is no number at the root, it means no number on it. It means there is a number which is number 2. For any root, if there is no number on the root, it means it will be a square root, which is having number 2. That's why for the question B, it will be a to the power of 7 per 2. Not 7 per 0, not 7 per 1, not a to the power of 0. Any questions so far? Or maybe my explanation is still confusing? You can tell me. No? Okay. None of you asked me anything through the chat box either. I think most of you already understand. I will move to the question 2. Please feel free to tell me whenever you have any difficulties. There is an option to text me private message if you ask me any question using private message. Page 24. I already told you on the very first slides. Workbook chapter 12, page 24. Kindly open your textbook, page 20, workbook, I mean. Already open the workbook, please pay attention. Okay, page 24. If you have any question, you can always unmute yourself and tell me what is your question is. There is an option to text me privately. If you are too shy to ask, you don't want anyone to know if you have any question, you can message me using private chat. I know I do not type anything through the chat box, but I read them. I will answer your question by directly telling you. So please kindly ask me any question if you have any question. Okay, if you really have no question, I will move to the question 2. Still on the page 24 of your workbook. Rewrite the following in the form of n root of b to the power of m. We already have the number in here, b to the power of negative 3 by 5. It means when it is negative 3 by 5, the numerator is negative 3, the denominator is 5. So later on for the root, we can write the number 5, and then for the power, we can make it as 5. That's why it will be 5th root of b to the power of negative 3. For the question B, we have b to the power of 7 per 9. So the denominator, it will be at the root, so it will be 9 root of b to the power of 7. Anyone have any question? Or maybe my explanation is too fast, you can tell me. No? Okay, if you do not ask anything, I hope all of you already understand. I will continue to the question 3. To do the question 3, the first thing that you have to do is knowing all of the index laws. That's why I already gave you a homework to make index laws, but not all of you submitted to me. For those who already submitted to me, I already some of them already check it. I already tell you what do you have to do if it is not complete. If it is already complete, I will tell you if it is already complete. So the first thing that you have to know is you have to know about all of the index laws. Now for the question 3a, it is a multiplication using the same base. So when we multiply two indices with the same base, we directly add the power. So as you can see, the first power is 2 per 3. The second power is negative 3 per 4. So we need to plus them. The final answer, I will get it as negative 1 per 12. That's why the final answer, it will be a to the power of 1 per 12. For the question B, we have a to the power of negative 3 per cube root of a. When it is cube root of a, we can change it into indices, become a to the power of 1 per 3. It is a fraction. Fraction is the same thing as division. So when we have a division and using the indices, we directly subtract the power. So the top one we have negative 3 and then the denominator, the power we have 1 per 3. So now we calculate negative 3 minus 1 per 3. The result, it will be negative 10 per 3. That's why the final answer, it will be a to the power of 10 per 3. So far, is there anyone having any question? Or the explanation is too fast or anything, you can tell me. No question at all? Everything is clear enough already for sure? Okay, then if you do not ask anything, I hope that you really understand. So I will move to the question C. For the question C, I have a to the power of negative 2 to the power of 3 divided by this kind of number. It will be easier if you simplify one by one. So you simplify the numerator first. From the numerator power mid powers we do times. That's why the power for the numerator, it will be negative 6. So it will be a to the power of negative 6 for the numerator. And then for the denominator, we have to simplify. The first power is negative 5 per 2. The second power, if you get confused, the root form, you have to change it into fractional indices first. It will be a to the power of negative 2 per 3. Multiplication, so we add the powers. We add the negative 5 per 2 with negative 2 per 3. So in the end, the total, it will be negative 19 per 6. So it means for the numerator, it will be a to the power of negative 6. For the denominator, it will be a to the power of negative 19 per 6. As you know, fraction, it means we have to do division. When we are doing division using indices, we subtract the power. That's why in here I have negative 9 minus negative 19 per 6. And then you calculate normally, you will get negative 17 per 6. So the final answer, it will be a to the power of negative 17 per 6. Any question, or maybe I talk too fast? If you have any question, please kindly tell me which one that is confusing, which one that I need to repeat again, or I explain it to you. Please kindly tell me. Yes?
Confused.
Which one?
Teacher.
All of the question 3?
C.
C. Okay, I thought 3. So for the question C, you have to simplify it one by one. From the numerator, you have to simplify. After that, the denominator, you simplify. That's why the first rule that you have to know is knowing all of the index laws. You have that a to the power of m to the power of n. The final answer, it will be a to the power of m times n. Now I have a to the power of negative 2 and also I have to the power of 3. So it means I need to multiply negative 2 and 3. Become negative 6. That's why for the numerator, now I have a to the power of negative 6. On that case, is there anyone having any question before I continue to the denominator? Is there anyone who have any confusion to simplify the numerator? No? Okay, now we go to the numerator. The denominator. For the denominator, we have a to the power of negative 5 per 2 times cube root of a to the power of negative 2. You follow the from the previous question, you know that a to the power of a to the power of ampere n, it will be the same thing as n root of a to the power of m. So now you already have the root form. You already have cube root of a to the power of negative 2. We can change the root form into index form. It will be a to the power of negative 2 per 3. So now we will read it as a to the power of negative 5 per 2 times a to the power of negative 2 per 3. We are going to use those two terms only, and when it is a multiplication, you know that when it is a multiplication, you have to add the power only. The powers is negative 5 per 2 for the first number. For the second number, the power is negative 2 per 3. We plus them. Later on, you have to make all the denominators same. That's why I will get negative 19 per 6. For simplifying the denominator, is there anyone having any confusion? No? If you have no confusion, we can simplify for the numerator. The power before we already simplify become negative 6. That's why I wrote it as a to the power of negative 6 divided by a to the power of negative 19 per 6. Fraction, it means it is a division. When it is division using indices, you subtract the powers. That's why now I have negative 6 minus negative 19 per 6. Minus and negative in here, we can combine it, become plus. And then for the numbers, you follow the fraction rules. You have to make all the denominators same. So later on, you can do adding or subtraction. The final result, we get negative 17 per 6. That's why the final answer, it will be a to the power of negative 17 per 6. Is there anyone having any questions so far, or maybe my explanation is still confusing? No? Okay. If you really have no question, now kindly open the workbook, page 12. Now move the workbook into page 12. We are going to discuss the chapter 7, the chapter about indices. Workbook chapter 7, page 12, page 1, 2. Already open the workbook page 12. The chapter-wise test question, it will be similar like the revision that I give it to you, and also the workbook that we are discussing it now. So please, if you have any question, feel free to tell me. You can directly unmute yourself or text me through the chat box. If you chat me privately, I will try my best to not mention your name. So you will not be shy if your friends know that you have any difficulties. Okay? Page 12, already open the workbook, page 12. If already, I will continue to discuss. If later on you think I talk too fast, please remind me. For the exercise 7.1 until exercise 7.4. Now question 1. We have to simplify the number using indices. When simplifying the number using indices, it means you don't have to find the exact value. You can keep it as index in index form. So far you only have one number of 2. You can write it as 2, and or maybe if you want to make it as 2 to the power of 1, that is also correct. There are 4 number of 7. That's why we can make it as 7 to the power of 4. There are 2 numbers of 11. That's why we can make it 11 to the power of 2. No question, right? Or have any question? No? For the question 2, we have to simplify these indices. This is multiplication. The base is already the same. You follow the rules. We add the power. So now I have the power which are 3. I plus it with negative 2. Plus it again with negative 2. Later on the result, it will be equals to negative 1. That's why the final answer, it will be 16 to the power of negative 1. Any question? No? Okay. If you have no question, I will move to the question 3. We have 3 times 10 to the power of negative 2. If you get confused, you can change the 10 to the power of negative 2 into a fraction. It will be 1 per 100, or maybe if you feel more comfortable with the standard form, you can follow the standard form. When the decimal places when the power of 10 is increasing, it means the decimal point move to the right, move to the left as many as the increasing, because we have, there is no number 10 anymore. It means we have to make it as 10 to the power of 0. From negative 2 into 0, it's increased by 2, so it means the decimal point will move 2 times 1 2. That's why the final answer, it will be 0.03. Or in another way, you can change the 10 to the power of negative 2 into a fraction. As you know, we have x to the power of negative n. It will be equals to 1 per x to the power of n. So now we have 10 to the power of negative 2. We can change it become 1 per 10 to the power of 2. 10 to the power of 2 is equals to 100. So you can calculate 3 times 1 per 100. Later on, the answer, it will be equals to 0.03. Any question? Any question, anyone? Please let me know if you have any question. Do you have any question, or is it already clear enough? Okay, if you really have no question, I will continue to the question 4. Work out the following without calculator. So now we have 6 to the power of negative 2. We follow the index laws. We can make it into a fraction. So it will be 144 times 1 per 6 to the power of 2. 6 to the power of 2, it will be equals to 36. So now we have 144 times by 1 per 36. If you, because you cannot use calculator, maybe you can canceling all the numbers. You can try to divide it by 2, or maybe you can directly try to divide everything with 9, because 144, if I divide by 9, it will be equals to 16. 36 divided by 9, it will be equals to 4. 16 divided by 4, the final answer, it will be equals to 4. Any question? Any question? No? If you have no question, I will move to the question 5. I have 1 million. 1 million, we can change it into 10 to the power of 6. How do I get 6? This is following as many as the zeros given. In 1 million, there are 6 zeros. That's why we will have 10 to the power of 6. So now we have 10 to the power of x is equals to 10 to the power of 6. When it is exponential equation and the base is already the same, directly cancel the base. So we can cancel all the 10. So now we only have x is equals to 6. That's why the final answer is equals to 6. Any questions so far? Any question? No? Okay. If you really have no question, I will move to the next slides. Later on, I will be sharing the PowerPoint to you, but only the final answer. The steps I will not attach it. So that's why, please, kindly tell me if you have any question. Feel free to tell me. I will move to the question 6. For the question 6, we have 3 to the power of z plus 2 is equals to 81. So the first thing that we have to do is making all the number into the same base. So you can change the 81 into 3 to the power of something. So now you can make it into 3 to the power of 4 for the 81. If you get confused how to change the number into any index number, you have the factor 3. You can divide the 81 by 3. Why do we choose 3? Because we follow the base given. The previous number is using base of 3. That's why the 81, we also make it into 2 to the power of something. And then 81 divided by 3, it will be equals to 27. 27, we can make it as 3 times 9. The 9 we can break down into 3 times 3. In the end, we can see there are 4 numbers of 3. So we can make it as 3 to the power of z plus 2. is equals to 3 to the power of 4. All the base is already same. We can cancel the base. We can cancel all the number 3. So the leftover one will be only z plus 2 is equals to 4. So later on the z it will be equals to 4 minus 2 which is equals to 2. Any questions so far or my explanation is too confusing? You can tell me. No? For sure no question? Okay. If you really have no question, I will continue to the question B. I will be happier if you really ask me any question when you have any difficulties, rather than you keep being quiet and later on you get confused on the chapter wise test. Yes. Someone called me before, is it? Kelly, did you call me before?
Confused, Peter.
Huh? B.
Confused,
Yeah.
sir.
Which one? The 6A? 6A or 6B? Which question that you are confused?
B.
Oh, yeah, I haven't discussed the b. I'm going to
Ah,
discuss the b now. Yeah. We have 2 to the power of negative z is equals to 128 to the power of negative 1. So the same rule, we have to change all the number into the same base. So in here, we are going to change the 128 into 2 to the power of something. If you get confused, you can use the factor 3 again. Later on, the 128, it will be equals to 2 to the power of 7. As you see, the 128 is to the power of negative 1. So the 2 to the power of 7 will be to the power of negative 1 again. So later on, we will have 2 to the power of negative z. Negative power mid powers we have to do times, so it will be equals to 2 to the power of negative 7. Now all the base is already the same, we can cancel the base. So now the leftover one we will have negative z is equals to negative 7. Negative z is equals to negative 7. So it means the z will be equals to 7. Any confusion? Any confusion? Any confusion? No? Okay. If no confusion, I will move to the question 1. For the standard form, we have 463 million. As you know, million is having 6 zeros. So from this number, we actually can get it as 463 times 10 to the power of 6. And this is not in the standard form because 463 is more than 10. For a standard form, we have to maintain the number is bigger than 1 and also lesser than 10. So for the 463, we have to change it, become 4.63. Since the decimal is moving to the right, to the left, it for 2 times, so it means the power of 10 will increase by 2. The final answer, it will be 4.63 times 10 to the power of 8. Any question? No? Okay. If you really have no question, I will move to the question 2. For the question 2, we have to find the standard form. So because this is a number is already given in so many zeros in the decimal place, you can directly move the decimal point to the right. You count it as many as the movement, it will be the power. So count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We go to the right for 10 times, that's why it will be 3.67 times 10 to the power of negative 10. Any question? No? Okay. If really have no question, I will move to the question 3. For the question 3, I have 0.04 to the power of x is equals to 1.024 times 10 to the power of negative 7. So from here, I will change the 1.024 times 10 to the power of negative 7 into a whole number. So I will make it as 1024 times 10 to the power of negative 10. Any confusion if I change the number into this number? Is there anyone who have any confusion? After that, I need to find the 1024 into a power of any number. Before I change it, maybe I will change the 0.04 into a standard form first. It will be 4 times 10 to the power of negative 2. Since 0.04 is in the power of x, it means for the 4 times 10 to the power of negative 2, it will be given to the power of x. Now, as you can see, the very first number, the a is 4, so we have to change the 1024 into 4, into 4 to the power of something. So now we can make it as, you can use the factor 3. If you do not remember the index number, it will be 4 and then it will be 256. And then I break down again, it will be 16 times 16. And then for each 16, we can break down into 4 times 4. Sorry, this is not a proper factor 3, not enough space. So in the end, for the 1024, you can see there are 5 numbers of 4. That's why we can change it, become 4 to the power of 5 times 10 to the power of negative 2, negative 10. Anyone have any question or so far before I continue? Is there anyone having any question? No? Okay, if you really have no question, in here we can change the negative 10 into 2 times 5. So later on we can make it as 4 to the power of 5 times 10 to the power of 5 times negative 2. As you can see, all the numbers, all the index or the powers are given in the, there is a number 5 or a factor of 5. So it means we can take out the number 5. Wait, let me erase this one first. We can take out the number. So later on, we can make it as 4 times 10 to the power of negative 2 to the power of 5. So later on, it will be 4 times 10 to the power of negative 2 to the power of x. Oopsie. Sorry. To the power of x is equals to, open bracket, 4 times 10 to the power of negative 2 to the power of 5. Any question? You really understand everything with all of my explanation? Hello? So as you can see, the number inside the bracket, all of them are the same. So we only focus to the power. So we take the first power, which is x. The second number, the power is 5. So it means the x is equals to 5. Any confusion so far? No? For sure, you have no confusion.
Teacher,
Yes?
why isn't it 5, teacher?
Because everything is the multiple of 5. 5 and negative 10, everything are divisible by 5. So I can take out the 5. As you know, 5, I can make it as 5 times 1. Wait, let me write it with a different color, maybe to make it more visible. For the number 5 in here, I can make it as 5 times 1. And then for the number negative 10, I can make it as 5 times negative 2. So as you can see, everything is a multiple of 5. So I can take out the 5. When I take out the 5, so the leftover 1, it will be to the power of 1. When it is to the power of 1, it's okay for us to not write it. So it will be okay if I only write it as 4 times 10 to the power of negative 2. Do you still remember the laws? A to the power of m to the power of n, it will be the same thing as a to the power of m times n. So now I have 4 to the power of 5 times 1, I can make it as 4 to the power of 1 to the power of 5. For the 10 to the power of 5 times negative 2, I can make it as 10 to the power of negative 2 to the power of 5. So it means I can take out the 5. So later on it will be easier to compare. So now I can see the number inside the bracket. Everything is already the same. So I can ignore the base. I can directly focus to the power. Is it clear enough or is it still confusing? That's why please kindly memorize all of the index laws that I already give it to you. For those who haven't submit the summary for the index laws, please kindly submit it so I can check it and you can use it for doing the chapter wise test later on. Anyone having any question? Yeah, still do not understand? Okay, if I change for the very first steps, is there anyone having any question? The very first steps that I do in here, I change everything into I make the a into a whole number. So for the 1.24 times 10 to the power of negative 7, I make it into 1024 times negative 10 to the, times 10 to the power of negative 10. Or if this is still confusing for you, there is another way that you can do. You can try to change the you can try to find all the numbers like a 0.04 to the power of 1. It will be 0.04 only. If 0.04 to the power of 2, it will be equals to how many? Later on, you can compare. Maybe will be much easier. Let me erase everything first, yeah. So in here, if you get confused, maybe you can use these steps. Wait. So now you have that 0.04. 0.04, it will be equals to 4 times times 10 to the power of negative 2. Is there anyone who disagree or get confused if I change the 0.04 into 4 times 10 to the power of negative 2? Is there anyone who disagree? No? No reply. I hope all of you already agree. Now if I have 0.04 to the power of 2, so it means it will be equals to 4 times 10 to the power of negative 2. In here I need to the power of 2. The number 4, it will be to the power of 2, which is equals to 16. The 10 to the power of negative 2 to the power of 2, it will be 10 to the power of negative 4. This is still not equal the number, so it means I have to change it again. Change it becomes 0.04 maybe to the power of 3. Oopsie, sorry, typo. We can change it to the power of 3. So it means the number 4 to the power of 3, it will be 64. 10 to the power of 2 to the power of negative 3, it will be 10 to the power of negative 6. Still not equal. So I have to find another number, 0.04 to the power of 4. Later on, 4 to the power of 4, it will be equals to 256 times 10 to the power of negative 8. Still not equal, so I can try to use 0.04 to the power of 5. It will be equals to 1024 times 10 to the power of negative 10. The number looks similar but in different style to write it. The result is not in the standard form, so I need to change it. It will be 0.24 times 10 to the power of negative 7. Now from here I can see that this is the same. I can see it by myself or from the trial and error. You can check that 0.04 to the power of 5. The result, it will be equals to 1.024 times 10 to the power of negative 7. That's why the x we make it into 5. It will be easier if you change the number into the standard form. So later on when you want to square it, so you have to find the 4 square first, which is equals to 16. 10 to the power of negative 2 square, it will be equals to 10 to the power of negative 4. Is there anyone having any confusion or still do not understand? Hello, is there anyone having any questions still? Please let me know. If this is still too confusing for you to understand, you can tell me. No replay. I hope there is no replay, I hope all of you already understand. So I can
Teacher.
continue to the next question. Yes?
For the previous, I choose the previous. So the if it's similar like 4 power 5 and times 10, open bracket 5 times negative 2, so we can find the similar 5 become
Yeah.
power.
Yeah, before in the previous one, we can change it become 4 to the power of 5 times 10 to the power of negative 10, right? We can change the number. So this is from this number, we can change it become 1024, the previous steps, the previous method that I use. This is the 1024. I can make it become 4 to the power of 5 times 10 to the power of negative 10. For the power, everything are divisible by 5. So all the power I will divide it by 5. So it will be 4 to the power of 1 times 10 to the power of negative 2, and then the number that I used to divide it, it will be another power in here. This is the previous steps. And then for the 0.04, we can make it into a standard form, become 4 times 10 to the power of negative 2 to the power of x. Now as you can see, the number inside the bracket already equal, so you can directly focus on the indices only. So it will be only the x, and then it will be only the 5. That's why the final answer we will get it as x is equals to 5. If you still do not want to use this method, you can do trial and error. So you have to find the 0.04 to the power of 1. It will be equals to how many? 0.04 to the power of 2. It will be equals to how many? And then 0.04 to the power of 5. It is equals to how many? And so on. And then later on, you compare with the result. When you already have the same result, you take the power. It will be the answer. Is it clear enough or is it still confusing? I think before you find the power, it will be easier if you change the number into a standard form first. So later on, if I have 0.04 to the power of 4, so it means I have to find 4 to the power of 4, which is equals to 256. And then for 10 to the power of negative 2 to the power of 4, follow the index laws. Power meet power, we have to times it. So negative 2 times 4, it will be equals to 10 to the power of negative 8. This is the step. You can pick which one that you like more. Is there anyone having any question? So please at home, when I ask you to practice, please keep on practicing. I already give you some answer. Please kindly try to practice at home and try to do a self-checking by yourself. Do not wait for the teachers to discuss it. Because if you only wait for the teachers to discuss it and you do not want to try to do it by yourself first, you will always get confused. Please kindly try to do it by yourself. Whenever you are trying and you look at all of the index laws, later on you can memorize all of the index laws. Anyone have any questions still? Hello? Or is it already clear enough?